Am I the asshole for not giving him any validation or giving him proper quote unquote closure?
A little bit.
Okay, a little bit of a fucking asshole, but obviously this is circumstantial and we don't know the specifics of this. I will say, if you know yourself that you gave him a fucking half-assed one,
yeah.
Rather, I guess that's the other thing, right? Did you if you felt like when you broke up you had a proper talk, that's a different story entirely, right? If you truly felt like that was enough closure, then you're probably not the asshole. But the fact that you then continued to give a half-assed one, that one's kind of fucked up. Yeah. Because you can't do that. You know, there's a lot of the times there's a lot of words that just don't need to be said. More words more often than not can do more harm than good, right? Because at the end of the day, like similarly, when people get angry, right, you have a lot of things that you'd want to say. But more realistically, when you are angry, you're going to say a lot of shit that can be hurtful. That shit hurts. And whether or not you meant it, whether or not you had the intent to hurt someone else, that doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, the damage is done. Like there are consequences to your actions. And if you're not thinking clearly about what you mean when you say the things that you do, that shit will hurt other people. Oof. And that at the end of like realistically here, even now, just saying please seek help and I cannot validate your feelings, like dude, I think you really need to think about whether or not like what you say in this circumstance too.
Pretty bad.
I think you also need to consider this is a person that you are in a relationship with, and whether you like it or not, you held a place in this person's life, same way that person held a place in your life too, right? Yeah. And unless it ended really badly, like that's circumstantial at best. But what you say at this point in time is still going to impact that person. And whether or not they made progress, whether or not they did become a good person, whether or not they did something, you know, whatever it could be, right? What you say at this point in time will have an effect on him. Same way that this person, whether depending on how much you let them stay in your life or how much they do impact your life, will also do the same to you. And at the very least, the fact that they came to communicate and try to ask like if he's gotten better, you know, then that which is also a little weird. I'm gonna say that
crazy, man.
Yeah, like again, unless this guy has quite literally done so much wrong to you to where you truly feel nothing and that you truly like have been hurt to the extent that you genuinely see no reason to give this guy closure, like this, just from this alone, does not paint you in a good light. I don't know how else to say this, because again, I don't know the details of your relationship. I don't know whether or not he, like, unless he did something that truly hurt you in a way that has deep-seated wound to the point where you genuinely cannot forgive this guy. If you broke up with him solely for the fact that he just couldn't come to a conclusion when you guys dated, look, man, I'll be frank, like, weeks is a long time. That's true. I think there's it's a half-half, right? There's obviously a limit to your patience, but there is also like as much as it is that I'm hopeful for a lot of things, like there's still a level of respect for the amount of time that a person would take to make those types of decisions. And even then, like, I don't know how old you guys are. If anything, like, for all I know, you could be college. You guys could be like freshly 18. Yeah. You guys can be well off in your life. You know what I mean? That level of patience can vary depending. And more often than not, I don't mind standing your ground. I think being very clear about like, oh, if this person doesn't want to date me and they don't see a future with me, then there's nothing wrong with breaking up with the person for that reason, right? Similarly, I think you need to stand strong with your decision at the end of the day. And you very clearly, like, if your friend got, like, or rather ex-friend, I think it's good that it is considered ex-friend, because realistically, again, this is not your responsibility to cater to the reaction that someone has to a decision that you have to make. if it truly is something for the betterment of you as well as them. Because realistically, if you understand that, hey, if they can't come to a conclusion and they don't know what they want, listen, I'm not going to be here to be in that position of limbo for someone who very clearly can't definitively say what they want. And that's fine. That's for you. But it is then also, the onus then also falls on you, where you need to make it very clear, like, hey, this is the reason why I'm leaving. And look, if you get sad about this, you need to understand, like, this is because you cannot come to a conclusion. And if you cannot come to a conclusion right now, then I'm not going to sit idly by for this.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, you broke up in 22. He comes back in 25 asking if he's gotten better, or like, I don't know how he asked this. I don't think you're wrong for telling him that you can't validate his feelings, but I would say, like, you do need to be like wary of like how you word this, and be like, I'm. It's a half-half. It's a half-half. I still think you're a fucking asshole, but I still think you're an asshole. However, I think you're an asshole solely for the fact of the way that this is being communicated. But at the same time, like, there's nothing wrong with you in the sense that, like, like,
well,
be nice about it. I think be fucking nice about it.
I think I will add the fact that I think what's something not generally what you've been saying so far. Can I just add, by the way, like, you give great advice. You're a very eloquent speaker, more eloquent than I thought, which is meaner than I thought it would say. But I always thought you're a good speaker. But like, you know, like, but I think one thing that you said that I was pretty impressed by was the fact that you said what you say will affect this person and might affect you as well, right? And I feel like that's really key here, because the fact that this person broke up at 2022 and they came back at 2025, to some people might be like, oh, that's weird. But in my perspective, that just means this person's hurt. This person clearly did not get over the breakup. And I feel like, if not a big part, at least partially the reason was probably because he had no closure. Closure is super important when it comes to ending things. You can't end a story without saying a conclusion sentence, right? You can't end an essay without adding in the conclusion paragraph. It's missing it. And now for him, that essay is still going on. His story is still going on, even though they broke up, because there's no closing sentence. There's no closure. That's why it's closed. If it will help you as well as this person to sit down and have that talk. And I think what Claude said exactly, like, just sit down and be like, hey, the reason is because, I waited for weeks. You didn't give me shit. And I don't see myself being with a person who can't make a decision about me when it comes to whether or not they should love me. I think that's a perfectly valid reason. And if you already communicated that, then yeah, I feel like that guy is probably a little weird. If you haven't, and you're still giving quote-unquote half-ass answers, something like, oh, like, whatever, like, I don't want to, then I think it's time for both of y'all's sake to sit down and have that talk, so that both of you can move on and finally put this, unfortunate story to an end. And again, even then, I feel like you should just try to be a little nicer too. Please seek help, and I cannot validate feelings is fine, but like saying like, hey, if he's gotten better, seems like, I know he probably hurt you somehow, but by making you wait so long. But that doesn't inherently mean he's he's a bad person. I don't think you need to be vicious against someone who you shared feelings for in the past, unless, of course, and this is where Claude's half and half comes in, unless of course he did something really bad to you. But like, from the story, it seems like the only thing was he couldn't make up his mind. So yeah. Just have that talk. Sit down. Have a nice, humane, cordial talk. No biting. No name calling. Don't be mean. And just give each other closure and then move on. Because 3 years is a long time.
At the end of the day, I think a lot of people, whoever this person is in this scenario, or whoever submitted this, I think the one thing that we're going to always say from the day dot is, I don't think you're going to like the outcome, or rather our perspective on this, solely for the fact that we probably aren't going to agree with you, right? And more so, right, we will only give our perspective on things that we are presented. Look, if he did really bad shit to you, that's bad. Yeah, you're not the asshole. Yes. But if you're saying that you only broke up with him because he didn't know if he wanted to date you after a few weeks, that is all that we're presented with. That is the only evidence on the table here. And anything that is added after the fact, like, we can't add like an addendum at this point.
Right.
So I think, again, when you tell these types of stories or ask for advice on this particular thing, like, just know that we can only give whatever advice or perspective solely based on what is presented in front of us.
Yeah. If he hit you, then yeah. That's GG. But don't even block him,
anyway,
like things like that, yeah.
If you, I still think you're the fucking asshole, but at the same time, I'm just like,
Yeah, like, yeah, TLDR, yeah. Just
nothing wrong with breaking up, but the way that everything was handled after the fact, yeah, you're kind of an asshole.
I think closure is important. I think closure is super important. But okay. Yeah. All right, you have a good one, wifey. I will. I'm just gonna say goodbye to everyone, and then I'll end.
Okay.
See ya, bye. Thank you so much.